It is possible for you to be super, super loving and compassionate and react to your child in a loving and compassionate way and still have very firm and strong boundaries that set really, really high standards for your children, a high level of expectation for them, and give them consequences and get really, really good behavior from them. And
Yes.
the truth is you're going to actually get way better behavior parenting that way than you will by being angry. So,
Yeah.
about you, but my parents were really strict with me, but not in a loving way. Like, they screamed and yelled at me all the time. They used to hit me.
Yeah. And that's not what I want to do. No.
Of course not. And so I don't want you to feel like, I mean, no pun intended, but I don't want you to feel like you have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just because you're throwing out the anger and the, maybe toxic ways of interacting with your kid doesn't mean you also have to throw out the high expectation and discipline. So
Yeah.
what I really encourage moms to do instead of like the yelling or, castigation and shaming and stuff, what we do, but we don't mean to do it, but we just are. Like when we say like, don't do that. What were you thinking? Come on. We don't mean to say that stuff. We're just acting out of our own emotions. But those behaviors really give our kids a lot of like shame and limiting beliefs and stuff. So but instead of doing that, what I really encourage you to do is natural consequences. So they are great because you can set a boundary and you can give a consequence to his behavior, but it doesn't have to be done in this way where you're showing that you're even disappointed in him. Like he's made a choice about how he behaves, and your reaction to it, the consequence that you're giving to him, is showing him what happens when he makes that choice in a way that's totally neutral. Like he can take that information and choose for himself what he wants to do with it. It's just when we behave a certain way, this is the situation we find ourselves in. And you can choose for yourself if you want to find yourself in that situation or not. And as he gets older, that's a kind of like a very basic elementary beginning to this. But as he gets older, you're going to be building on this with so many more approaches that are constantly laying the foundation with him of you have power over your life. You are an agent for change. If you don't like your circumstances, you can change them. Nothing you ever do will shake the unbreakable love that I have for you. And also, you don't need to freak out because mama's got this. Like nothing you do is so bad that I can't handle it. And the more kids get that message from us, the more they don't just misbehave as much, because a lot of misbehavior is just being a little scientist and experimenting. Well, what happens if I scream? Does it work? If he gets what he wants when he screams, that was a successful experiment. And he's going to say like, okay, note to self, scream again, because that works. And all of those things. And it's obviously a lot easier for me to say, just stay calm, do it lovingly, blah, 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 because I'm not in the moment with you in that heat of frustration. And obviously, when I'm working with clients, we're working on these things in a very much more comprehensive way. We're talking about like, well, how can we maintain empathy? How can we stay calm? What's going on that's maybe making me frustrated? And that's an energy that I'm passing on to my child. Like, we can't look at the child in isolation and just say, oh, this one parenting technique is going to solve all your problems. And as your child grows, you're going to see him needing more and more and more of this. He's just starting now. Like he's just now starting this individuation process. But it's really, really awesome that you are kind of jumping on this at perfect timing. I wouldn't say early at all. It's right on time. Around 6 months, kids have a cognitive development that leads them to being terrible at sleeping through the night, poor Sarah, and also makes them capable of learning. And so we can start using these discipline techniques and these teaching methods very early on, and it's in a loving way. So it doesn't have to be in this mindset of like 11 months old, you can't discipline a baby. You definitely can discipline a baby with love and kindness and compassion. And you will be amazed at how quick their behavior turns around. At this age, 24 hours, you'll see a difference.
Yeah.
How's that landing with you, Lisa?
I mean, it's helpful. I want to definitely, he's got some aggression and stuff. So I definitely feel like maybe because we definitely don't sing an uh-oh song to him and take him to his bedroom, but like he knocked something over, and like as soon as I came around the corner he started crying, like he knew I was mad.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something that he's got. I could maybe implant something different than that.
You definitely can do this. You know, he sounds like a totally normal, healthy, wonderful 11-month-old child. But it is true that right now, and perhaps that you've gotten off on the wrong foot with him, but he will respond really, really quickly to you changing. Just
Yeah.
like,
Well, I've already stopped yelling at him and he's not yelling as much, but he is communicating. So I don't know if it's communicating or yelling, but then I'm like, how did you learn to yell? And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm yelling at him. So now I've been kind of a little bit nicer to him. I guess in my head, it was like, I'm going to show him I'm boss. And that's going to be from it, like, you know, my voice, like the change in my voice will show him, but I don't think it's working.
no,
So
it doesn't work that way, because what's most important to keep intact is that like profound fundamental bond and connection you have with your son. And so, you know, being angry with your child, it's super crazy and whacked out, but kids, all humans crave energy, intensity, and emotion. And babies and children are no different. And so even though your reaction to his behavior when you're angry is negative in a crazy way, you're actually positively reinforcing his bad behavior, because you're giving him that energy, intensity, and emotion that he craves. So even though he might cry and feel really sad and scared when he knows you're mad, you're still actually teaching him in a weird way to do that bad behavior again. It's so wild.
I totally get that.
So that was an awesome question. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing that. That was amazing.
Sure. Thank you.
I am going to mute you. Oh, you muted yourself. Well, there you go. So the next thing I want to do is kind of make it clear like how you're going to get from here to there. Like we've talked about a few little tips and tricks, how to see some change in these different areas. And it's really important that you have this idea of where you want to go. Like just like Lisa's describing, she wants to get to this place where her child is well behaved and being supported, but she's doing that in a loving way that's calm and without anger and stuff like that. That's an amazing vision. But she also needs to have a plan with consistency and accountability to actually get there. So that's why I want to take you a little bit further and show you like that, literally the roadmap that I walk all of my clients to. So I'm going to screen share again with you guys, but I'm going to screen share this, but we're going to look at that. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this roadmap. So this is literally the roadmap that I walk all of my clients through when they're in the Tribe program. We have a 6-month-long curriculum, and you can see that every single month has 3 elements that are those 3 elements that we talked about in the success system. You have a family systems element, you have a mindset element, and you have a discipline element. And we work on that step by step. We build on those things throughout those 6 months. So in the beginning, we're talking about those first like triage elements, whether it's the uh-oh song, whether it's like Sarah and getting her sleep and a reliable routine, all of those things, so that we can build on those, so that in month 2, we're talking about looking at yourself as a bad mom and your mom guilt, getting your mornings dialed in, how you communicate with your child. And then in month 3, we're talking about mom guilt. We talk about, you know, sleep. It's a big deal. We talk about bedtime. We talk about reminders and repeating ourselves and nagging our kids, so that in month 4, we can talk about, you know, the motivations, and the mindset piece of month 4 is like how we beat ourselves up to get ourselves to accomplish things, and how we can switch that around to be a positive growth mindset. Talking about food and getting our kids dealing with picky eaters and getting our kids to have good table manners and mutual respect with your child. And then in month 5, we're talking about making these changes stick, not falling off the wagon, getting our kids to be helpful in a team vibe in our family with delegation and chores, and making sure that we have a really comprehensive discipline approach with all the elements that we've talked about. So All of this stuff comes together in a roadmap. I'm going to stop sharing. So you can see that all of these things are kind of part of the process. Now, does everybody have to join the tribe program to get from here to there? No, of course not. And you certainly don't even have to do things in the same order that I do things in the tribe program. But this is what I found to be really, really successful for my clients. I've learned from a lot of trial and error, a lot of study, a lot of training, that certain things have to happen before other things can happen, just like we're talking about with Sarah and the routine and stuff like that. So this is what I've cultivated and created that helps my clients get to where they want to go. And I feel really, really confident that that it will work if you do decide to do that. So whether you decide to do tribe or not, I feel really, really confident in telling you guys that this order and strategy is what's going to get you from here to there, whether you're doing it with me or not. But, you know, what I really want to stress to you guys is that there is a way to get from here to there. It's not going to happen overnight. And the most important thing I want to tell you, and I've learned this from experience as well, is like, sometimes it's not enough. Like parenting strategies was only a piece of the puzzle. And for me and for all of my clients that I work with, what we really find is that we need someone to troubleshoot with, to ask questions to keep us accountable, and to work on those parts that aren't part of discipline, but are just as essential for the business of our family to be running properly. You know, it's not enough to know the uh-oh song if you're never sleeping at night. It's not enough to know the uh-oh song if you haven't taken care of yourself. It's not enough to know the uh-oh song if you're struggling with depression because you are just beating yourself up all the time with horrible, crushing mom guilt. So I do feel really confident in saying that using the tribe program as your roadmap is going to maximize your odds of success and minimize the time it takes to get there. So obviously, I feel very strongly, and I know in a very deep place within myself how profound even one meeting with a coach who understands your unique challenges can really be. And not to mention how powerful an actual program with consistent information and encouragement and troubleshooting is. So I want that for all of you guys. And that's why I'm offering you this free session with me. So if you're really ready to take this deeper and like really troubleshoot the stuff that you're talking about and explain to me exactly what your unique circumstances are, I really want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to go online and book that session. It is an 45 minutes where we sit down and I figure out exactly what's going on with you and your family. I want to get clear on what your personal parenting experience is. I want to figure out what we need to do to improve the behavior and energy in your home, and figure out how to let go of strategies that are sabotaging you right now, like we're talking about with Lisa and her, you know, trying to be stern, but it's coming out as anger. You know, that's something that's actually going to bite, you know, shoot her in the foot in the end. And that's something that'd be really, really great to learn how to let go of, you know, and figure out how to get the peace in your family relationship that's going to spill over into all the parts in your life, whether we're talking about your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your kids, whatever. And so I really do everything I possibly can to make sure that you're going to leave your session knowing exactly what to do next to start making a change and see results. So even if you think you can't afford tribe or you're not interested in tribe, I want to meet with you, and my intention of helping all of you guys is very sincere. So don't miss out on the free stuff just because you feel like you don't deserve it or you're not going to take advantage of the other options that are available to you. So invest in yourself, take those 10 seconds and snag your appointment. Lisa asks, is it a meeting alone or with kids or with a spouse? I usually encourage you not to have your kids there because I want you to feel like you can really speak freely, even if you're having frustrated feelings or whatever. I want to know exactly how you feel, even if it's stuff that you wouldn't feel comfortable expressing in front of your kids. If you want to have your spouse there, it's totally your call. Some of my clients choose not to have their spouse there because one of the things they want to talk about is their spouse, and that's totally cool too. All right, you guys, I don't see any unmuting going on or hand raising. So I'm going to say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. This class is only an awesome class when people participate. And so I'm so grateful to you for sharing and showing up vulnerably and honestly, because everyone benefits from that so much. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody. And hopefully I'll be talking to you guys all soon. Bye.